Indradyumna Maharaj was a great king. He had inconceivable wealth, extraordinary power. He was very strong. He was young. He was loved. He was loved by practically everyone in the world. He had no elections he had to campaign for. He was inevitably to be the king as long as he so desired. No rival. That means his magnificent palace. The prime minister can only stay in the prime minister's house as long as he's the prime minister. In America, the president can only stay as long as he's president. Then he's not allowed in the White House to stay anymore. He might be able to visit if the next president happens to invite him. So in this world, power comes and goes. Wealth comes and goes. But with King Indradyumna Maharaj, with Satya Yuga, everything he had complete stability. And he had a wonderful family. Everything the world offers he had beyond the imagination of the people of Kali Yuga. But when he heard from a great sage that the Supreme Lord in the form of a deity, Nilamadeva, was somewhere on this earth, nothing else meant anything to him. He was yearning, longing, crying to give his heart and his life to the Lord. Because he was a Rajarshi. He was actually a great king. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Greatness means to understand that everything is the property of God, of Krishna. Bhoktaram yakatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Suhradam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shanti mrchati. As long as we have this misconception that anything is mine, or that ultimately I am the doer to get credit, that conception, according to the Vedas, is duratma, means very small-minded. Real greatness, Mahatma, is to see everything as Krishna's property. Whether you're a king or whether you're sweeping the street, that has nothing to do with greatness. It's that humility, detachment, and devotion that makes a person great. King Indradyumna Maharaj sent his most trusted minister to literally search the earth for Krishna. Can you imagine? Krishna's right here on our altar. We could come anytime. Just go to the next room. Congregation, yes, it may seem like such a treacherous long journey from Borivali or from Vashi Vidyapati was willing to search the earth. And he did. And he was so faithful because he loved his king. He went and he had darshan himself. And he had every reason just to stay there. Lalita was such a nice lady. And Nila Madhava, he could just have stayed there and worshipped him for the rest of his life. But this is how much people were literally devoted to their king. And as soon as King Indradyumna Maharaj, for him, his wealth, his kingdom, his power, his prestige, the love of his people meant nothing. So King Indradyumna, he was actually the same as Kolaveta Sridhar in consciousness. Except instead of living in a straw hut, he was living in a palace like no other palace. Instead of selling banana leaves, he was ruling the world. But it was all a zero without love for Krishna. So he was willing to give up everything for that love for Krishna. Such eagerness. Lolyang, that eagerness, that intense desire. Rupa Goswami tells that is the price to receive Krishna. Vyavashayatmaka buddhir ekeha kudunandana. Bahushaka hinantascha buddhayo vyavashayanam. To have that resolute, determined purpose, to be focused. To love Krishna, to serve Krishna, to be with Krishna. It's an anxiety. But it's an anxiety that breeds ecstasy, nourishes the deepest instincts of the love of the soul. And this was the quality of Indradyumna Maharaj. And because he had that desire, Krishna was always putting him in more anxiety to increase his love, to increase his eagerness. He never gave up. As the children showed, he left everything to go to Nilamadhava. He was willing to move his whole kingdom to wherever Nilamadhava was. Yes? Could you imagine? He really considered himself the servant. If this is where Krishna is, it's not for me to take Krishna back to me. We'll move the whole kingdom to where Krishna is. But when he went there, Krishna sent the sandstorm. Or as, was this Gopal's fun school that performed this play? Anyways, Gopal's fun schools explained it to be a cyclone. Yes? And everything was gone. And Nilamadhava was gone. Can you imagine? He sacrificed everything. It was his only purpose, his only goal, his only meditation in life, and now gone. He was about to die. And then he received the message that the Lord will come in the form of these logs in the ocean, at the Niladri, at the Blue Mountain, near the ocean on the eastern coast. So he resided there, just waiting for those logs. It's the only thing he breathed for, is for those logs to come. And then they came, with the marks of Vishnu upon them. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. And he had the carvings of Krishna, Balaram, Subhadra. And what was his anxiety then? To see them. He'd be outside just listening to the chipping away. And then there was no chipping anymore. What was his eagerness? His eagerness completely surpassed his intelligence. And he went into the room even though he knew he wasn't supposed to be there. And it appeared like unfinished deities. Then again, I ruined everything. So many obstacles. I have displeased Krishna. But then Krishna, Narada Muni appeared and said, no, this is Krishna's Mahaprakash. His Mahabhava Prakash. In the ecstasy of his separation from Vrindavan, while living in Dwarka, this is how their bodies transformed. And I saw that form long ago. And I prayed that somewhere in the world, this form of Krishna in his ecstasies of separation with his brother and sister would give liberation to the world. And now it is coming true. Indradyumna Maharaj, according to the Lord's wish, Narada Muni's vision, he installed the Lord, built a temple, and from the place where the Lord was given his Abhishek, there was a Rath Yatra for the Lord to enter his temple.